Hi, Master Gardener Board. This is Laura Robinson from the Chattanooga Area Food Bank. And I was hoping I could come to your next board meeting to talk about a project I have going on, but unfortunately I can't make it. So I'm hoping that by sending this video, I can kind of show you the space and explain kind of what I'm looking for. And then you guys can always send me follow-up questions or give me a call if you want to talk through anything else. But the project is in the rain garden, but I'm actually starting here in the greenhouse. And I'll go out to the rain garden in just a minute, but I wanted to start here to show you a few things. So an overall high level of what I wanted in the rain garden. The rain garden has proved to be kind of the biggest time draining part of my job, and I really am looking to get some additional funds to fill in the lower and middle sections of the rain garden. And I thought that maybe one of the questions you all might have is, well, can't you just start seeds in the greenhouse to plant out in the rain garden? And I have done that in spots, and I'll show you what I've planted just recently, or I guess it was in the spring. But I also wanted to show you that during multiple times of the year, the greenhouse is packed full of hundreds of seedlings, which I give out to community gardens, school gardens, church gardens, as well as planting here at the food bank. So my capacity at numerous times of the year is fairly limited in the greenhouse, and I'm really trying to focus on helping others feed people in their community. I also did want to show you, this is purple lyre-leaf sage, I believe that's how it's pronounced. And this is something that I found last year that I thought, oh, this might be a great thing to put in the rain garden in the lower section. So I bought seeds, started them. This has been growing in the greenhouse now for 9 to 10 months. Very limited germination. You can see the plants are still super small. So it's not for lack of trying, but I also know the difficulty in starting perennials. Sometimes it takes years to get them to a good size. And again, my capacity in here is just limited. I don't have room in the greenhouse to start the amount of plants that I would really need to fill in the rain garden. So let me show you outside. And sorry if this video is kind of bumpy. So if you have been to the food bank before, you know this garden right out front is the rain garden. And I'll show you all from the other side. So it is roughly 100 feet long, and it is about 20 feet wide. So you can see there's a nice sign there that has Master Gardener, a little shout out for Master Gardeners on there. And so I really want this to look nice. This is the first thing that people see, donors, volunteers, that when they come out to the garden, this is kind of the first area where they're met. And I can keep up with it for part of the year, and then it gets hot and the rest of the garden gets super busy, and it's really hard to stay on top of. And I'll show you kind of where we are with the weeding on this as we go down to the other section. So it spans this whole area, and then it goes all the way down here and ends down here. Now you can see this area has been weeded all through here, and this area is kind of where I've stopped last. I have probably, me and a volunteer, have spent probably 10 to 15 hours in the last week just getting the section I just showed you weeded. So it really is time consuming to weed it when it gets out of control, which it very easily does. I also get some volunteers from in the warehouse to come out and help me sometimes, but if the warehouse has limited volunteers, which it seems like kind of depending on the time of year, they can't spare people to come out here and help me. And I have asked Master Gardeners numerous times to help me weed in the rain garden and have had very little response. So again, this is not for lack of trying. I feel like in being here for the last 4 years, I have tried numerous things to keep this area looking nice, to stay on top of it. But you can see, you know, this lower section, there's really nothing down here. I did ask for donations from Master Gardeners. I got one response for irises, which I'm kind of waffling on, honestly, because they can get out of hand. But I probably will just put some irises in here because there's just so much space to fill. So you can see like the whole kind of lower section, middle section is just bare. So when I weed out all this, I have plants along the top section, which is fairly easy to get plants along the top section because it rarely floods up here. But it's a lot more difficult to find things that will work down in this middle section. And obviously it's going to be different when we actually start getting rain again, but it does stay, it holds moisture down here for the better part of a day or two, depending on how much rain we get. So I did want to show you some things that I have started from seed, just to show I'm trying to get plants in this area. But a lot of it makes more sense for the upper section. That has been what I found has been the easiest to kind of fill in. I started this blanket flower from seed. I started, now I'm gonna blank on the name of this. Oh, bone set. I started bone set from seed, and that's something that I will probably start again and have more of because it grew so well. And then I do have some grasses over here. It's called gamma grass. It's really pretty, but you can see it's just like right up here in this section. So there are things that I'm doing to kind of fill in the upper section. I'm just looking for additional funds to fill in the lower section. I have also reached out to Tennessee Naturescapes to see if they would be willing to help donate some plants. I have not heard back from them. So I did get a quote for some plants from Reflection Writing. They did give us a discount, maybe 20 to 30% discount, and it was about $500, and I can send you guys that quote so you can see what's included in it. There were some river oats, there were some cone flowers, a few other things. It definitely does work a lot better to have established plants out here. I have tried putting kind of smaller plants thinking, oh, they'll spread and they'll grow, but they kind of get lost in, you know, if there's weeds, they just get lost in the weeds. And I have a volunteer out here and they end up getting pulled. So buying established plants, I do think, is the best way to go. And also there was another question I thought you all might have. Oh, so my budget now, I was given $3,500 the last 2 years. Usually my budget's $3,000, and that all really goes to my day-to-day expenses. So anytime I buy potting soil or pest control, anything like that, that's all coming out of my budget, and it really takes all of that budget to just get me through the year. To give you an example, I buy mulch every year for the rain garden and around the garden area over here. That's about $500 a year. And then I also just bought, this is another example, I bought grow bucket stickers for our combined grow bucket project, to put on the grow buckets to advertise for both the food bank and for Master Gardeners. That was $200. So just those two items alone, $200 in stickers, $500 in mulch, taken out of $3,500, that's 20% of my budget right there. So you can see that the money is definitely helpful, and I couldn't keep up this garden without it, but it also is not enough to try to start to fill in this area. Another question I thought you guys might have is spraying using weed killer. I do use weed killer every once in a while if I have to. But really, I'm trying to support an ecosystem here. Like you can see right here, there's butterflies everywhere. There's all sorts of insects all over. And I would much rather support an ecosystem than have to use weed killer all the time. That's just a personal choice. I know there's plenty of research that I've seen from Tom Stebbins, and he, will advocate that using weed killer is fine, and I don't think that he's making that up, but I also see the impacts on just the wildlife in this area, and also my own health impacts. When I spray, I put a mask on and it still makes me feel woozy. So it's not something that I personally turn to. I would much rather have plants fill in this area and me weed around a lot less area because it's filled in. So I hope that helps explain what I'm looking for. Like I said, I got this $500 quote from Reflection Writing. I'm planning to keep starting more seeds. I just got, one of my volunteers just donated me some orange coneflower seeds. I'll start those in the greenhouse and see how that does. But really, if I could get any additional funds to fill in this area, it would be a huge help. And if you do award me funds, I would not plant anything out here until we start getting rain again. So this is something I'm looking for the fall or early spring, because that's really the best shot to get the plants well established. Is if we're getting rain, it's definitely not gonna do any good to plant anything out here right now. So again, thank you for your time. Thanks for considering this. And if you have any questions, feel free, email me, call me, and I'd be happy to talk through anything else. I hope you all have a good day. Thanks, bye-bye.